Today we're looking at one of the highest regarded and highest rated fragrances from the Xerjoff brand. Hello, welcome back to Seldomly Often. I'm Daniel. Today we're talking fragrances and this is a practical review of Xerjoff Tony Iommi Monkey Special. These reviews are for fragrances I have a lot of experience with, multiple wears in many situations, and are meant to give you a general idea of what it feels to wear the scent. As per usual, I do a lot of research before buying fragrances these days, but I don't really like to go into details about notes and accords, as I don't really feel that they help the end user. I'd rather talk about the wear experience as a whole. The fragrance we're talking about today, as I mentioned in my intro, is one of the highest rated and highest regarded fragrances from the Xerjoff lineup. All reviews, both on video format on YouTube and on written format on Fragrantica Profumo, praise the uniqueness of this scent, the longevity, and the overall performance. Is it for me? What do I think? Will I keep this? Admittedly, and I also talked about this previously in my other Xerjoff reviews, Xerjoff as a brand is something that I really want to like. There's something about them that really appeals to me. I guess it's the bottle design, their fragrance concepts, their marketing, and although everything is like over the top flashy, they still manage to convey a sense of luxury and uniqueness and exclusiveness. Another thing that I like about Xerjoff is that they're not trying to beat around the bush. They know what they are. They are a commercial, exclusive luxury brand. They're really not trying to appeal to hyper niche heads with weird and unpalatable concoctions for the most part. They make mass appealing fragrances that are quite unique, and they still spark that desire in the masses. I say mission accomplished for Xerjoff in that regard. And although I praise them as a house and I really want to like them, there's something about their fragrances though that always falls flat for me. Maybe I'm a snob, maybe I'm a hyper niche head, I'm not really sure. Usually what happens is I get a fragrance, I get really excited about the packaging, I get really excited about the concept, I wear it, and the opening is great. It's always very unique and different. What happens later in the dry down for most Xerjoff fragrances that I tried is that I get this generic, musky, ambery thing going on that is pretty boring and very linear and predictable. And the worst thing about it, for me at least, is that the dry down is very common between many fragrances. You could refer it as the Xerjoff DNA if you want, or you could refer it as like just poor effort and just lack of imagination in that department. Before you shout and insult me in the comments, yes, I am aware that there are some Xerjoff fragrances that are actually very unique and different. The first that come to mind are from the Oud line. There's some really challenging scents there. I always refer to Gao because I have a first impression video of that, but I actually sampled some other ones and they're pretty unique also. I actually think that the reason behind my long-term lack of enthusiasm for most Xerjoff fragrances is one, and it's really simple. I just don't like Chris Maurice or Chris Carbonell as a perfumer, and he is the perfumer for most Xerjoff fragrances. I started looking into it and noticing a pattern. Most fragrances that I deem a little bit boring, in the dry down especially, are from Chris Maurice. This is not an attack and this is not meant to be offensive. It's just that the way he formulates the dry down on most Xerjoff fragrances is just not for me. This led to some interesting discoveries, but those are to come in another video. I actually found the Xerjoff fragrances that I really love. But back to Monkey Special. What is this fragrance? So this is actually a collaboration between Xerjoff or Sergio Momo and Tony Iommi, the guitarist from Black Sabbath. Sergio Momo is known to love music, he is known to love rock music, and he is known for his weird collaborations. I actually really applaud Sergio Momo for this because he didn't go for like the hype, the influencer. He actually went for an idol that he likes and he wants to share with the world. And the collaboration with Tony Iommi extended to two fragrances. So we have the Monkey Special, which was the first child of that collaboration, and then we have Deified, which was the second one. Deified is actually a fragrance that I really like and still have. It's really potent and it's quite unique, but not overly so. I feel that Monkey Special in this regard is a little bit more daring and a little bit more unique. Love it or hate it, Xerjoff's presentation is pretty much second to none. And we have to give credit where credit is due. Ultimately, the end customer is paying for all of this, so there's that. But we can't deny the sense of luxury and the sense of wonder when you get a Xerjoff fragrance. I've had many, and it's still to this day, I get really excited every time I open a box. Speaking of the box, most Xerjoff fragrances come into this like a coffin style box. And the box for this Tony Iommi Monkey Special is a little bit different because instead of the burgundy fall leather, we have a black leather with a black velvety interior. I think it's really sleek. I think it's really rock and roll, and it's really cool. You also get a little booklet with some images from Tony Iommi and Sergio Momo, and at the end you get actually a little pic that's branded Xerjoff and Tony Iommi. I think it's a really cool addition, and it makes the packaging extra special. The bottle is also quite unique compared to most Xerjoffs, and here my OCD is a little bit kicking in, but you get the black cap and the black plaque. And the bottle itself is finished in this silver paint. And the cool thing about it is that these little marks that you see on top are actually little monkey heads, and they're transparent. So they're actually cut out from the silver paint, so you can see inside and you can see the liquid color and the liquid level. I think it's a really good addition. Another cutout is the Iommi logo down here, and it works in the same way. Really cool, really functional. The cap is a usual ferro cap. It's really heavy, it's well made. Can't complain here. Something weird about the cap on my bottle is that it's a little loose, not that it will fall off because it's always very snug, but it's loose around. So for some reason it's just like twirls really easily. It's not an issue, the bottle just sits there and it's safe. You can actually pick it up from the cap, no problem. The atomizer also is great. Typical Xerjoff, top of the heap here. It's a really good combination of directionality and mistability of the scent here. Let's give it a couple sprays. Yeah, it's really great. The one gripe I have with the presentation, and it's always me nitpicking, is that this bottle is insanely fingerprint prone. So you have to keep wiping it down every time you use it. That's kind of annoying. But let's get to the scent profile, because arguably this is always the most important part. So Tony Iommi Monkey Special is a very particular scent. The opening is like nothing else I ever smelled. You get this really prominent, really fruity passion fruit opening, which is pretty unique, that is paired with a really strong boozy note. It might be rum, I'm not really sure. I don't know my liquors that well, but I think it's rum just because it feels very tropical in a way. That opening lasts quite a bit actually. I think that the opening is a good 30 to 45 minutes at least. It's a very dense, strong opening. As you spray it together with the opening, you also get hints of the heart of the fragrance. And the heart of the fragrance is pretty much leather, rose, and patchouli. And the impression that you get is this very chocolatey, dense, sort of rugged, and a little bit abrasive feeling that really pairs well with the opening, because despite what I'm describing is a very dense and heavy scent, I guess that the fruity opening with the rum and the passion fruit contrasts as well with this mid to give it actually a lot of versatility on the season front. I think that this can be worn all year round. And if your argument is that for the summer this is way too heavy, I would actually say that the tropical opening really has a fizz and a liveliness that really helps this scent project, and then the tropical feel really suits the summer actually. Similarly to Nishane Fan Your Flames, this is a really fun scent to wear in the evening. This whole thing really transports me to some weird tropical island in the Caribbean with fruit, rum, and taverns. It's really great. If you embrace the pirate themed thing that's going on, you'll have a good time. And another thing I have to praise about this fragrance is that it really transitions a lot, and it's really interesting from the opening to the mid to the dry down. The deep dry down, yes, it is more of the same. It is a little bit monotonous in Xerjoff terms, but it works well, and I always praise the fact that the dry down is really great because it manages to fade out completely in a very delicate and unobtrusive way. The way Xerjoff fragrances fade out is truly magical. If I look enthusiastic about the scent profile, it's because I am. I think that it's one of those Xerjoff fragrances that really hit the spot and is really unique, and I can totally see all the praise online. Is it for everyone? No. I would say it's actually quite challenging in a way, just because it's so unexpected. That passion fruit opening, let me tell you, if you're a fan of the fruit, it's absolutely great. If you're not, it's like a headbutt to the nose. If I have to give this a knock, I would say that this fragrance doesn't really smell very natural. There's something about it that is abrasive and artificial to me. You just have to go into expecting it to be a very loud, abrasive, and projecting fragrance. This is definitely for the person that wants to stand out in a crowd. The projection itself makes it so that this fragrance is, I would say, low versatility in a use case department. It basically follows the same concept as I marked for some other fragrances that are really loud, like Louis Vuitton Ombre Nomade, or what's the other one? Maybe some Amouage. The thing is that it's so unique and so particular and so loud that if you wear this all the time, you'll be recognized for wearing this all the time. And it will give you that concept and idea of like you're wearing the same t-shirt all the time. Given that, I think that this works best for special occasions, for evenings, and for personal use in the house that obviously always work. I said evenings because there's something about the booziness that really gives me a dressed up vibe and evening vibe. Not that this requires to be dressed up, this can be worn completely casual, but if you dress it up, I think that you can really play hard on the contrast and the fun factor that this scent has compared to like a more formal attire. I think that it would work really great and actually spark a lot of interesting compliments potentially. Although I don't think that any Xerjoff is necessarily targeted to male or female audience, and they're pretty much all unisex, I would say that this leans a little bit more masculine. There's something about the heart of the fragrance, this leathery, gritty, chocolatey note that really gives me a little bit more of a masculine vibe. Also, the loudness of this and the passion fruit, that tart passion fruit with the boozy note, maybe are a little bit more masculine, but you do you. And if you're a female that likes harsh, loud scents, this might be exactly what you're looking for. The longevity for this is pretty good. I get at least 8 hours. And the part that matters, the interesting part of the scent, so the opening till the mid, is a good 4 hours, I think. You can smell this on your skin and smell it around you for the whole duration. It's pretty great, really. Overall, I think that this is a great special occasion fragrance. It has a huge wow factor. It's very unique. It's very polarizing in the best possible way. If you fancy that, please note that every time you wear this, everyone will notice. This scent profile is difficult to ignore, and the loudness of it will just engulf everything and everyone. I'm not really that kind of person. I don't really like to be at the center of attention, but I definitely do appreciate the unique punch factor that this beast has. Value for money is always a little bit of a sore point for Xerjoff, but the good thing about Xerjoff is that they're pretty easy to find at discounters, and this one here is no exception. I think that if you get a good price on this is a great buy and something great to hold on to. Yup, Xerjoff Tony Iommi Monkey Special is the real deal. I really like this, and I'm looking forward to wearing this more in the evenings to come, summer and winter. If you like this type of content, and if you like my video approach, feel free to subscribe. It always helps the channel and is massively appreciated. If you want to interact with me, you can leave a comment, suggestion, opinion, or anything else down below. I always respond, and I always keep the conversation open. Thanks again for watching. Thank you so much for your time. Until next time, I have many more reviews to come. Cheers. See ya.